Like it's so bright.
Hello, hi guys. We're live today. I'm
Hi
Nicole
guys.
Mann. Hi. I almost called you Faye Tyler Vane.
Hi Nicole.
Hi,
I
welcome.
mean,
We missed you. It's been a long time since you've come to our platform. So, welcome, guys. This is Success Your Way Movement. We're streaming on a lot of platforms. We're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on our pages, on our page, and on our group too. So, if you're on here, do tag your friends and tell them you are on. We're going to talk about modern parenting and modern life. Go on, Lovin, and introduce yourself. Tell us what you want about yourself.
hi guys. I've been here before several times. And on Saturday, I was at Nicole's Instagram live. So I'm living Nicole's cousin, hence the resemblance somehow.
We don't remember.
so,
There's no money.
so we're gonna talk about, what Nicole has said about modern parenting and the older days of parenting, and it's gonna be like an interesting topic to sort of like talk about practically.
Yeah, I like that. You're a young parent, so it's interesting to hear your view. We have a really big age gap between us. So I know actually I like kind of advising you and stuff, but I do know the parenting now and back in our times are totally different. So it will be interesting to share. So what we have from you, the audience, and all our friends out there, tell us the kind of parenting that you went through, the one you're practicing or the one you're planning to practice. Karibu Kaindi, hello, welcome, tag your friends. Lovin, I'll let you take over as I share this onto the page, onto the platforms. You can take over, Lovin, for now.
Hi guys, hi Nicole's friends, hi Nicole's followers. I believe some are from Kenya, some aren't, so I'll try my best to speak in English today. Lakini mtu kazaliwa pwani, Kiswahili bado kiko.
Kiswahili cha pwani. Sometimes we get carried away. When you speak in your own language, it just flows. It's just so beautiful. That's why
It's
we
nice,
forget and
yeah.
take
Sometimes it's very difficult to express yourself in like a foreign language, a language that you're not born with, or For me, actually, funny enough, Luo was my first language.
I'm not so good at my own tribe. So that's
I
like I
am
do
with,
this.
hmm?
Yeah. Okay, so today we do want to talk about modern parenting. What is our role as parents, or not just parents, to be honest? Some of us are uncles, some of us are aunts, and some of us are whatever. What's our role? Do we understand our role? And what's the kind of thing we are practicing? Is it the same that our parents practice, what we learn? Uh, when I was making the announcement about today's topic, and I was making fun at James May and telling him that I hope pia kupigwa kama nyoka because back in the days tulikuwa tunapigwa mpaka unashindwa kama bado uko hai ama umekufa.
I'm a kufa. Oh yeah,
You
unconscious.
can't
I'm
tell.
back.
Aki, you really can't tell kama huyo ni mamako mzazi ama mtu wenu kabisa ama huyo ni enemy of the sijui ni state.
Yeah,
Unapigwa kupigwa.
absolutely. You can think it's just step parent, or just like someone who hates you, who's hating you. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's very
yeah,
different in how one was raised. How the way we were raised, you and I, is pretty much the same, basically. You
yeah.
know
Even
how
though there's still a big gap, but it's more or less the
it's
same.
the
Imagine.
same. It's pretty much the same. I remember when I was young. There's a time actually I remember vividly, like when I was young, and I don't know what I'd done, and it wasn't something because I never really used to do anything outrageous. Because I was terrified of my mom. I was always terrified, even sitting next to her or even wanting to talk to her. It's like when you're like in the olden days whereby you as a servant you wouldn't dare look at the royal family because you feel like how dare you look at the royal family.
Yeah, you.
With my mom, and I wouldn't say anything bad. I was not like this in Swahili, mtoto mtukutu. Sikuwa mtoto mtukutu. I wasn't like a stubborn child. So I remember one day, I don't know what I'd done. It wasn't even something bad, I know for sure, I know. And my mom wanted to beat me. And so
Yeah.
I went to Nicole's house. I obviously, because we lived in Shomoroni, so Nicole lived on the other side of Msho. When you cross the road on the other side, and I ran to Nicole's house.
Thank you, Veronica.
I
Do
remember
you
your mom
know
saying, "Ah,
what? We actually, our parents really had high standards. They had high standards, and you know, one of the reasons why we do such things, such lives, teach each other, is that with such high
yeah,
standards, sometimes the expectation is too much for the kids, and
yeah,
sometimes we cave. And then parents couldn't give us what they didn't have; they only gave us what they knew, how they knew it. You know, na I
yeah,
said, ni kama sisi, we always struggled between the demon, what we knew, and what we want of our kids. Because
yeah,
like you're saying, ulikuwa unapigwa mpaka unashindwa, huyu mtu yani ana regret alikuzaa ama amekuchukia ama
yeah,
you know. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why we have such topics and stuff to learn from each other. Mi nakumbuka nikiwa mdogo, this was an uncle of mine, na saizi tunaongeaga, we are friends. An uncle of mine alinifukuzanga kwa barabara. I thought mbio itanisaidia mimi, venye najiamini mbio, huyu mtu mzee hawezi nishinda mbio. Nilitoka mbio nikidhani I'm saving myself. Alinikimbiza paka barabarani, paka busy road. He just kept on chasing at me, but that did, in a way, it did affect his relationship with my mom. And kudos to my mom for that, because my mom, she wasn't amused by that at all. She didn't like it. She wasn't amused. And after that, we started seeing less and less of him paka ikaisha. But as adults, we a relationship really rooted. Unaona. But back in those days, some uncles of ours thought it was okay just to hit the nieces and just like kukuterrorize ama nitumie what word for it. Yeah.
yeah. The thing, like with African, oh, I say Kenyan parents. The thing with Kenyan parents, they can hit you to the point of black and blue, but no one apart from them should touch their
I was
children.
allowed to.
That is their property. You're not gonna touch it.
No one else.
No
Mimi
one else.
kwa mtoto wangu.
No one else, basically. But I did not like the way of parenting. If I had a time machine and I'll travel back in the time, I would have spoken to my mom, basically. And
Yeah.
before, and it affects, when you grow up, it affects your relationship with your parents. It really does. And it really, really does. It makes like a huge impact, because you have that, even though you are like in your 20s or your 30s, there are things you don't feel freely to speak to your mom. You don't feel freely to speak
Yeah.
to your parents. There is like a wall in between you, even though you talk to that person because they are your parent,
Mm.
not because you
Yeah.
want to, but because they are your parent. So there's that
Yeah.
wall in between. Yeah.
It's a
So,
shame that we end up having a really awkward relationship with our parents where you love them but you don't like them.
yeah, yeah, like you don't want to
You
be
love
around
them.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you still choose them as your mom, as your dad, or whatever, but you don't like them.
yeah.
You don't like them. You reach a point where you really need to talk to them and share stuff with them, but you can't talk to them
You
because
can't. Yeah,
judging, there'll be I don't know what.
yeah,
There's so much. They're so fixated onto this whole society concept, pleasing the society, the societal expectation, and they didn't realize that we're just human beings. We make mistakes. We have our own path. We don't necessarily want to do what everybody else is doing, and it was so unfair. So, like you're saying, sometimes you get into trouble, but hakuna kitu umedu.
you haven't
Serious.
done anything. Hujafanya kitu, ametoka na like her angers, all their anger from like work, or maybe his friends, or their partners, and then or your dad, and then they just take their anger out of you. Who's just
Out
like
of you.
you know?
Imagine, actually, saa zingine hata you don't really understand what you've done. And when I look at my son now, I usually think it takes me way back, because when he looks at me confused, then I realize, you know what, that is exactly what I went through. Where a parent like anakuuliza, kwa nini ulifanya kitu fulani, wewe unafikiria unaulizwa ujibu.
Mm.
Kumbe ni rhetoric question. Rhetorical question. You're not supposed to answer that.
It's a rhetoric question.
Hapo unapigwa kiboko, hata umenijibu. Sasa apart from the mistake you did, you've already done another mistake just by trying to explain yourself.
Yeah. So one I used to hate, nile umechapwa, you've been beaten so bad, and then obviously you can't cry, you have to cry. And when you cry, they ask you, why are you crying? And you're like,
So many chapa.
sasa unachapwa kwa sababu umelia.
Umechapa kwa
Usilie pia
sababu.
unachapwa.
Wow. Aki, they used to be Aki
Like
to live for two
30
years.
pesos each. I remember a particular story. I was actually 11. So my mom, how my mom raised me. My mom always raised me in a way whereby my brother and I, we wore the same clothes. Literally, we wore matching clothes.
Aki, oh
The two of
yeah.
us and I, there's like a 4.5 years different age.
That is big, and you're a girl.
Yes, and I used to, yeah.
That is
You
so
took
so
you took a
evil.
picture with it.
That is so evil.
Okay, game, yeah. And so my mom used to dress like we used to like similar clothes basically. And so me, her raising me that way. So I started dressing with like in boys' clothes basically. So each time we'll go to Congoea, the local market, and I used to shave my hair. People used to think I was a boy.
You're
So
both boys.
so we were both boys, obviously, because my brother and I we look alike. Like our jaws, we do it's like copy. God was
Copy,
lazy,
say,
I did copy and paste. Basically, we look alike. I'm a female version of him. And
totally
so,
resemble.
yeah, so me growing up, I wore boys' clothes until the age of 8, 9. That's when I stopped, or 10. Actually, it was 10 when I stopped wearing, but I still was wearing. All my friends were boys. I never had friends who were girls, so people used to assume I was a boy. So this
Yeah.
was the time when I hit. I was almost like I was hitting puberty. Sorry, I was 12, and my mom bought me these tops because I was still, mind you, I was still wearing actually boy clothes practically.
Mm.
I'd only wear girl clothes when I was going to church, like a skirt or a dress or a top when I was going to church. But other than that, even Christmas time, all of them are boys' clothes.
Mm.
So one day she brings her auntie who came from Tanzania came to visit us, and we were meant to go and see her. And she brings me this like really tight tops. Mind you, at that time I was hitting puberty and my boobs were coming out basically, and I did not like that because to me all my friends were
You're
boys as
still
I grew up.
conscious, and yeah, yeah, you're big, yeah,
They knew
yeah.
I was. No one knew I was a girl.
Now your
Everyone
body is changing, and yeah,
exactly.
you
So
put
my
a
mom,
label to yourself as a tomboy, and that's what you can relate to. And now, if the boobies are gonna come out, you will
yeah.
lose that label. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you for telling me my son. Sorry, my son is in the background. Yeah, and so she bought me this and it was so tight, very tight. I mean, now I'm comfortable wearing tight tops. Now I'm a woman, but then I was a child. I was 12 and I didn't like that. And so she made me wear this yellow top. It was yellow and this like short mini skirt, basically. I didn't like that. I didn't want to leave the room. And so and I was so terrified of coming out because it's like, oh, this is like very hanging on my body. I don't want people to be looking at me. And she comes to the room basically very angry, with a shoe brush. Zile za kiwi zile. The next thing I knew, it happened so quickly that the next thing I knew, blood was just coming out of my head.
Oh my
She
flipping god.
literally, she took the shoe brush and hit me, and my head split.
Oh my flipping
Literally, it
god.
split. It's a bad memory that I have. It took me
Yeah,
such a long time for me to get
yeah.
over
You're
that.
a kid. It sticks.
Yeah,
It
it sticks.
sticks.
So many traumatic moments of me when happened to a child sticks with me, and so that's why me now, having experienced that for so many years, I cannot raise my son that way. I don't shout at my
Yeah.
son. I don't do anything. In fact, he's 5, but we
Mm.
sit down and have conversations. So
Yeah.
such memories stick with me until even now, and it terrifies you. Now, me as an adult in my 20s, when someone is shouting at me, I sort of like get scared when someone is shouting at me. Basically, I don't like it.
Yeah, you feel like you're being attacked already. You go on defense and
Exactly.
stuff.
Then I go on
Yeah.
defensive, basically. And if you shout at me, believe me, I will. For me, I will not speak to you again. I will just cut you off like that. I'll go quiet on you. I don't like it. So that's why I don't condemn parents shouting at kids. I don't condemn parents hitting children. It is not
Mhm.
nice. You yourself, you have similar stories of like it's not one incident. It's like multiple
Mhm.
incidents basically. It's the shoe brush,
Yeah.
threatening to throw hot chocolate at me, kuchukua simu, kunutupia simu, and it was so mad. It's funny enough that
Oh my
now
god. Our
it's so
parents were not like evil, super
was
evil.
so
But
evil.
the sad thing is, we're talking about modern parenting right now and modern life
Yeah.
and stuff. There are things that we just watch from the TV. We see the TV thing is something that somebody has choreographed and put something together from their own research, so it can be biased. Sometimes it's unbiased, really, but most of the time
Yeah.
it's probably bad. So that kind of parenting, most of the time we learn from the things we watch from TV, and most of the things we watch are actually American. And American kids have been raised totally different. Up British people are kind of traditional, and kind of, I used like to say we are kind of stuck in our own ways and stuff. And then, like, like, we have Kenyan influence. I'm a Kenyan by birth. I have Kenyan influence. I'm in a strange country. How am I going to raise this kid? Uh,
Yeah.
has some of the new methods, I'm supposed to know that, okay, this will probably work. Am I even damaging my kid more by not having the strict expectation our parents have? So you're trying to find that balance and know what's what. So
Find
that's some
it.
of the things I'm
Exactly.
going to discuss today. I would like our audience to share their own experiences, to say hi to
Exactly.
us. This is an interactive thing. We learn from each other and stuff. We learn from each other and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
what my first question is, what is our role as parents? What is our role? What do you understand as our role as parents?
just like you have your kids view you as you technically you are a guardian to this a guardian to this child.
Mm.
You need to protect them, you need to give them comfort, you need to give them love, you need to give them everything. When someone is going through, and I was telling you this actually, my son's dad, him and his mom, oh, I admire the relationship they have. Sometimes I find it a bit weird, but they have like a very good relationship, whereby if he has like a problem, he's the she's the first person, sorry, she's the first person that he thinks of. She's the first person that she goes to, my mom, so that literally he
I'll
will
be
say,
honest with you, that did affect my marriage because that's more of like a European way of life. That did affect my marriage big time. I think it was the number one contributor to my marriage because
yeah,
was super close in a way that
mm,
you're thinking this is what we call wife and husband confidentiality chat, our pillow talks. They are not
yeah,
supposed to leave the bedroom. If I
yeah.
that I have an infection there, that I'm itchy or stuff, I don't expect to hear it from your mom. Like, oh, are you still itching? You know, are you still scratching? Oh, do you still shave? Did you stop shaving? Those are not the conversation you expect to have with your with your mother-in-law.
Right
Or
now,
it's so close, and it's something we never understood. So
yeah,
it's
because of our
yeah, that
upbringing, yeah,
yeah, we never understood because our culture is different. As our men were never meant to like be cry or be too attached to their parents. You reach a certain age, you're supposed to leave home. So when you come and you realize, oh my God, what kind of culture is this? Why would you be
yeah. It's
talking
a
to your
culture
mom about
shock.
that?
Yeah,
It's
it's a
so
culture
weird
shock.
for us as Africans.
It's like
That's
it doesn't prepare you. It really doesn't prepare you. It's like slaps you in the face out of nowhere.
fine. It's only new Nanyambia. I'm a woman, but there's some things I could never tell my mom, and I'm a woman.
Yeah, these are the things like because how again I say how you were raised, but then there's good and bad with with that closeness. But honestly, majority of it it's very good, because imagine your mom is the person or your parent is the person that you need to confide in, and then
Yeah,
your friends after,
yeah,
not
because
your
they
friends and then
always
your
have
mom.
your best interest at heart.
They always have the best interest at heart. And when you see that, when I saw like how the dad and how his dad and the mom were, it was just so beautiful. I just had to admire it and say, I would
Uh,
love my son and I to have that relationship, whereby he doesn't find it to be a burden to go and see the mom. Not
mm,
really. Like he
yeah.
doesn't find the mom to be a burden. He enjoys spending time with the mom. They speak like almost every day. He
Mm,
enjoy, it's just like he's so loving. He loves the mom very much because the
mm,
mom wasn't like terrorizing him like the way our moms were terrorizing us. He feels comfortable to go to the mom. But
yeah.
us, you're actually comfortability to go to our moms.
Okay, sorry. I wanted to bring up this notion. people say that we turned out okay. So because we turned out okay, then our parenting might not have been that bad.
Yeah,
People are
no,
like, oh, I turned out okay anyway. So that's what I wanted to bring out. So what? There's this notion that we turn out okay anyway. What are your thoughts? Yeah, there's that thing. We do look okay, but it doesn't mean we're okay.
you're not okay. You can be physically okay, but mentally you're not okay.
Mentally you're not okay, and these things are the
Okay.
things that seeps in other things in our lives. You see, like if we
Yeah,
experience that kind of love, that kind of relationship in our own families, in our own upbringing, then if
yeah,
you come into marriage, it's not too weird for you. You might be able to communicate and say, you know what, I just want you to find a balance. I want
yeah,
you to know I'm the wife now, and blah blah blah. You can communicate that. But because we didn't have all that lovey-dovey with our own parents,
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I
you
struggle
start
with
with that.
that. Yeah. You're
You know,
right.
you're like a dude, you're telling mom, I love you. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never told my mom I love you. That's, but yeah, for me, it's changed a little bit my relationship with my mom. Now we get to those I love you stuff and we do that. But back in those days, it was totally different. It was totally different. I'd like people to participate on this discussion and tell us their own upbringing, what they do, what they experience,
Yes.
what they practice. Have they found a balance? Do they still find that they sit back to the old days? We are not here to judge. We also sit back to you. I keep on saying you can't give what you haven't got. We are
Yeah,
once
yeah,
in progress. You have to make that decision every day that you want to be better, to be a better person than the
yeah.
way you were brought up or than your situation. So that's what we are always battling. We're not saying we're not judging you at your parenting is wrong or right and stuff. No, it's not about that. So we're gonna come out onto the modern parenting styles and stuff. We're gonna talk about that too. Otherwise, if you don't have anything to contribute yet, just say hello and tell us where you're joining from. Tell us that you're there. It's always nice to know that we have some company. So yeah, we were talking about our roles. Yeah, for me, I know my role is to be a protector, protect them from the evil of the world as much as possible. Age appropriate things. If you're 13, you don't need to know all those adult things unless it's suitable for your circumstances. There's a reason for you to. I am your protector. I am your natural. I want to know what do you want to be when you're older, but no pressure. You're not saying that you have to be that. Do you know what? I would like you to be a gentleman. I'd like you to be this. So, how can I help you and nurture you into being that without putting any more pressure to you and then make maybe get you out of it ukinai because like but back in the days watu wanasema oh watoto wa pastor are the worst, watoto wa pastor are the worst. Why? Because expectations za watoto wa pastor is so high. Everybody's there to judge them and bring them down. People want to see their downfall, so kila mtu yuko tu against them. So wanasema kama watoto wa pastor wenyewe ni wabaya. We used to use such example, but it's
Yeah,
so it's so
yeah,
so yeah, for me is to
yeah,
provide security and guide you in life. But at most, my first important role that I discovered and I endeavor to be that is when I discovered conscious parenting, and it's something that I'm practicing. We've talked about conscious parenting on this platform before. Yeah, all those other things that we think that we need in life is not that important. Our job in life
absolutely,
is just to protect our kids. That's the main
absolutely,
job in life.
absolutely,
Yeah, we all
absolutely.
those things, other things are just details, and we have to be careful where to find the line between. Do you want them to live your dream, or do you want them to live their own dream? Is it your unfulfilled dreams you're trying to chase onto your kids? You wanted to be a doctor, now you want to make sure your kid is that doctor just because you couldn't be a doctor or something. We have to ensure that it's not we're not enforcing our own dreams onto our kids. So yeah, sometimes our insecurities sit in such forms we end up like putting so much pressure on our kids, but it's just our own insecurity,
Mm.
nothing else. Unataka watu waseme mtoto wako ni fulani fulani ni nini ni nini ni. It's got
And they
nothing
just
to do
a
with that.
child is a doctor. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You should let your children do what they want to do. If even the Bible says, guide your children to the way they should go, which is you should guide your children to the way they should go, but not whereby you have to force them to do what you want to do. Honestly, my mom and I, to we were very close. Honestly, it's not as I tell like Elizabeth, you need to give me some time. If my mom would call me every day, my mom would call me from Monday to Sunday, from Jumatatu to Jumapili, and when she calls me, we speak for hours. And generally this happened only because my mom and I'm not sure, I'm not shy to talk about it. And Nicole was there. My mom and I had like a very massive argument,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't change it.
You have like a toxic kind of relationship
We
at some
had
point.
a toxic
I've been
relationship.
there, yeah.
Yeah, we had that toxic relationship, and because I'd not healed from the past, basically, and thinking about and what you said, sometimes, you know, sometimes when you were raised in a toxic family, sometimes not physically, sometimes it's verbally, like just
Yeah.
parents comparing
Passive
you,
aggressive.
very passive aggressiveness, and constantly your parent comparing you. Mbona uchukue kama mtoto fulani na fulani? Why can you not be like so and so? He's doing so good. He's doing great at school, and sometimes the child is not good academically.
Like we're saying about their own insecurities. Ati mimi
Yeah,
nilifanya hivi, nimefanya and I've sacrificed my life for you to have this. You know, it's just their insecurities.
it's just
Relax. I
insecurities,
didn't ask you to sacrifice all that. It's just
no
like
one
I
exactly.
go telling my son, "Oh, I've sacrificed being close to my family and I'm around my family and people
Yeah, for
love
you.
just for you to have a better life." It's got nothing to do with them.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with the children. In fact, they did not ask to be born in this world. So if the moment you decide to give birth to your child, the moment that you decided not to abort that child, that's when your responsibility starts. Stop guilt tripping your children. Stop
I
making
know.
your children feel bad. You know, I decided to have my child, my son, and my role as a parent is to protect that child, is to love that child, is to reassure him that I love him to the moon. He knows I love him to the moon and back. He knows
Yeah,
I love him to
it's
the
not
back.
put a transaction. We put it into a transaction where, oh, I provide for you food, so you have to do this for me.
You
We,
have
we
exactly. you know you don't have to. And lucky enough for me, again, I said my mom does not guilt trip me. She did guilt trip me actually into going university, and in the end I really did go to university. And now I'm doing a career that has nothing to do with my university. I'm left with a huge debt to pay back, you
Mm,
know and I would never do that to my son. I will let my son choose his path. I will guide him. I'll give him
mm.
as much guidance as possible. As long I pray to God that he doesn't do drugs or have bad company, but as long as he's happy and contented with the life that he has, I will always 100% support my child.
Yeah. So there's this thing that I saw that was interesting recently. There's somebody who was saying how they've been in their kids' journey,
Yeah,
and even after they left for university, they were still involved, making sure they were like attending classes, being university and stuff. I was thinking that's what they know, but you know what? You can do that, and yes, they might pass and stuff. What if that's not what they want to do? Will you be in their
exactly.
everyday life and ensure that they report to work or they go to work? How many people just keep on losing jobs or never finding a job because you didn't let them grow?
Yeah,
You didn't
exactly.
let them just take responsibility. I'm in university, it's my job to ensure that I attend classes, to ensure that this is done, this is done. You are literally on that throat. Now they come out of the world and they're thinking, why are they not even succeeding? Or why are they
Exactly.
not even happy? Or they're succeeding and they're not even happy at all.
Exactly. And the way you're putting so much pressure on your children, just raise them right. Don't be toxic, don't be aggressive. Because that thing as well, and I said back to our moms, they raised us the way they were raised. And you'll find also their moms were raised the way they were raised. And it's like a generational thing whereby you
We
know
have
how a duck
somebody who has to put a stop to it.
yeah, do you know how when a duck hatches from the egg, and the first thing that they see, the imprint, basically it's like, I think it's an imprint, I think it's called imprint behavior, if I'm correct. um so we as human beings, we have this thing whereby we imprint like
Yeah,
behavior.
yeah, yeah. There is that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
imprint without knowing. And I imprinted my mom's behavior without knowing, without I've been raised in that home. I was born and raised in that home. So for so
Mm,
many years I've been seeing that toxic behavior day in and day out,
mm,
and also receiving the abusive, the abuse
mm,
basically, physically and verbally, practically. And
mm.
so unfortunately my brother is the one who got the anger from me. When I was angry, I took it out on my brother,
So
because
it was the observer. He was on the bench observing everything that's happening. Being
exactly.
younger.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
I took it. And honestly, for me, giving birth, even before giving birth, I already vowed. I said I'm not gonna be anything like my mom. I'm not gonna raise my mom. I'm not gonna raise my child how my mom raised
How
me.
I was
And
raised. Yeah.
that scarred me so much. And then you end up trying to find someone to love you, even though you don't know how to love somebody.
You
You
don't
know,
even know how to love yourself.
you don't even know how to love yourself to begin with, practically, because you
How are
don't
you
know what
gonna be loved if you don't
love
even
is.
know love? If you don't love yourself,
I
how can
know.
you? articulate how you want to be loved.
Yeah, and then in your relationships, whether it be a male or female, you end up self sabotaging basically because you are afraid to be
Absolutely.
loved, or you are afraid to
Absolutely.
put that love out. So it's
Yeah, when we're talking about the print thing, there's this notion, this thing actually does happen where people sometimes inherit other people's pain, like the slavery thing. Many years later, there's some kids who just inherit the pain.
mm,
It's something that has been proven that does happen. So
mm,
sometimes you might find that you're always angry and stuff, and you don't understand why you are always angry and stuff. But it's maybe just because you inherited your parents' pain,
I've never
and
had.
that's one of the. It's a struggle to break through that because sometimes you just don't understand why you are the way you are. You're
Mm,
thinking my childhood wasn't that bad, but why am I always
angry.
angry? Why am I always like this? Because sometimes we do inherit such pain, and it's sad. It's sad. That
I've
is
never heard
also
of that, but it's interesting if that such things exist basically. For me, I only know that you can inherit your parents'
a,
toxicness without knowing
You
basically.
can, yeah, you can, you can. So, I wanted to talk about this thing that sometimes we put a lot of pressure on our kids. Yeah, we've spoken about a little bit about that, but most of the time is why we do this is because we're too worried about things that might go wrong or things that might be and might not be. So we'll be obsessed about, oh, my kid might end up being, and we always say negative things, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah,
asipoenda skuli atakuwa mwizi. There is no guarantee. He's just an artist. There is
yeah,
no guarantee atakuwa mwizi. There's no guarantee atakuwa sijui nini. But there's that thing, and we need to remember the power of the tongue. We have to be really careful of the things
yeah,
we confess about the
yeah.
kids, about ourselves.
Yeah, your fear becomes your reality, basically. Yeah, sometimes your fear becomes
Yeah,
your reality. So as long,
it does.
yeah, so guide your child. Do not be toxic and shouting at them. Just try and find out. Sometimes like some kids are wengine, they're struggling something. They might have like a very good upbringing inside the home, but they're having
Mm,
troubles outside, outside the home. So you
mm.
having establishing a very good relationship at home and having that friendship, be a parent and be a friend, but be a parent first, then be a friend, basically. So when they
Yeah,
come
be a
to you,
parent.
they'll be comfortable and they'll be comfortable and they'll let you know what's going on outside.
Yeah,
You can have a good upbringing with good
yeah,
parents, not your friends. They're just your parents, you know. But you have to be a parent and you be a friend, basically. That's what I can say.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I motivate my
Absolutely,
child,
absolutely.
yeah. Because each
Yeah,
day,
sometimes we struggle.
sorry, go ahead, go
Sometimes
ahead.
we struggle with parents, especially if they're teenagers, then they come and tell you, oh, I hate you, I hate you. As a parent, it's really hurts, and the kids tell you that. But it's just a stage. Understand, it's got nothing to do with you as a person. It's got nothing to do with you as a person. Just take it with a pinch of salt. Pinch of
And
salt, know
you're
that
not
it's a
giving them
period
bad
of time,
feedback.
teenage years.
That's when like puberty
Yeah.
hit. For me or for us, we could not say like, "Oh, takuchukia,"
Eh,
For us
eh,
that inflicted so much fear. The amount of times my mom has threatened to throw me out of the house, and it's only like 13. Oh my days! They put so much fear that and you find those kids who end up telling you, "I hate you. I don't want to talk to you." They're the ones
yeah.
who actually you end up having a good
I can
relationship
so
with.
bad when the child, it tears our parents. I
You feel
treat
like you
you.
wanna slap
Keep
anyone
telling you that we hate. No wonder our parents used to. Pia, hata huwezi maliza your sentence. Because it kills a parent. I think it kills a parent to be told that I hate you. It kills you.
it does.
But what you understand, it's just a stage and stuff. Understand? I think generally what we need to do as modern parents is be educated, be relevant, understand life now has changed. Kids have changed. Kids have a lot of information out there in their disposal. They just need the phone, and they've already found certain information. Just know what stage is your kid at, and just take them as they are. Know that we are all special, we are all different. Kids are not the same. Yeah, take
Yeah,
kids as they are. Yeah, don't just
yeah,
don't compare them to anybody else. Understand who you go age gani, you go stage gani, wanga you go slower, because maybe he might be like 13, but maybe hajafika mindset haijafika ya 13-year old, so that remember that huyu anga ana catch up later, they're not a teenage yet, ama huyu anakwanga wa fast, he grows before his age. Understand your kid, get to know your kid on a deeper level, and don't worry about comparing them to anybody at all. You are to come on with teenage years. What are the things to expect from those teenage years? Take the time to find out.
Some things are different basically on what you can expect. Some will come and I hate you.
I hate you. Actually, it's so bad. Actually, I told you, it's so bad. And I could hate just because you've told them to do something so innocent.
Oh, you make my life so miserable.
Yeah. Oh, and then I also wanted to talk about how modern parents nowadays we become so many things, and some of those roles we don't know how to adjust to them because, like we said, they were never given to us. We never saw our parents doing them. Nikukwa entertainer. The other thing, our kids expect you to be an entertainer. Oh my God, I'm bored. You're like, so what am I supposed to do with that information? What do you want me to do? I'm your mom. You are my unataka tu nikacheze kati. Aki, our
You
kids,
can.
excellent now. Ah,
You have to play with the kids, no matter how much. Sometimes I get frustrated with like when my child's are like, "Oh, mommy," oh, he comes and shows me something or like a game. No matter how much I don't want to do it, I do it. Generally, even though I don't want to do it, I just do it. I play with him. His like his games. We play bowling online, or we do like we paint, or he makes me cut out his drawing. I just do it. I get involved basically. Each all the time I hear, "Mommy,
yeah, me,
give me
I
a thumbs up,"
forgive
basically.
myself for being in transition. I forgive myself. Yes, I do say yeah a lot. I say yes a lot. Fine. I know I'll never say no to a movie. I know I'll never say no to going out and for a meal or a game out and stuff. But what I'll never ever entertain yet, okay, I've not never ever, but what I'm not going to entertain yet is for me to be there to entertain you at all times. That is not happening. First, quietness and boredom is important for life. It's the point of creativity. A kid shouldn't be engaged
Yeah,
at all times. And it's not my job to entertain you at all times. Find creative ways of entertaining yourself and have friends. I'm your parent first, then I'm your friend. Yes, we can go out for meals, we can play on a pool and stuff, we can watch a movie, but expecting me to entertain you 24/7, that is not happening yet. Maybe the next generation of modern parents, you. But for me, I'm still getting that way. I don't know. I'm my mom's daughter. I'm my mom's daughter. Ndio sasa tuanze kucheza 24/7. Nimetoka kazi. Movie, yes. Go out for pool and stuff, yes. But entertaining you 24/7. Ati, mom, let's draw, you are five, you did that. But now you are 13. I'm not doing it.
some kids that will honestly for me, my view is very different. As much as I'm like I don't play with like my son all the time, but when he asks me, he came. I was like, I want to do my own. If I'm busy, like, oh sorry, baby, I'm busy. I'll play with
Yeah,
you. Okay, what about you
yeah.
understand? But believe it or not, majority of the time, this child, I have to force him to do things with me.
Because you're
Genuinely,
still young and cute. Imagine me wanting to entertain a 12-year-old or 13-year-old every time. You don't even share any conversation anymore because everything you do are like old fashioned anyway. And you're thinking, okay, everything I suggest will say it's boring anyway. So what am I supposed to do with you? But that said, KJ, he's a wonderful boy. He doesn't have any like high expectations from me. He doesn't have any
yeah,
he doesn't pressurize me. He's not fussy. He's not demanding. That's the word I was
yeah.
looking
Buy
for.
me
He's
this,
not
buy me that.
demanding of me that I want this, do this. No. So for me, I know it's very precious when he asks me for something. Really precious moments. If he asks me he wants to watch a movie, I know those are very important moments. So I treasure them because very soon he'll be out. So I treasure those moments. I'm
You
not
do
saying
those
everybody should
moments,
do that.
yeah. I know,
Yeah.
yeah. Like my son, basically talking about that. My son was like, I knew back in the, was even me with my mom when I was younger. Like I was terrified of asking things. Even when I turned 18, I
Mm.
would, I was terrified of even asking for bus, for bus fare going to college. So basically, I end up like looking for a job so I can finance my own transport because we never had that.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I only became close after my son turned 2 or 1.5, 1.5. Yeah, that's when my mom and I became like close, super close now. That
Mm.
we talk about anything and everything basically. Kimwasengenya jueni hivyo. If you did my mom wrong. But now my mom and I were very close, obviously. Now she seems like a mature and we've gone past that and we've talked about that. And but for me, obviously, I'm glad that I went through that because my son and I, he's not afraid of asking me anything. I mean, sometimes like, it's an overdue thing that he asks. Sometimes you're like, ah, my God, give my bank account a break. But I try to provide whatever I can because at that point, if he can't, he'll go and find it. When they grow up, they'll go find it from somewhere else. If it's
Mhm.
women, they will, they'll go and find a man who'll give them. If it's,
Mhm.
if it's a guy, they'll find like, illegal ways of finding that money. But if you can afford it, I'm not saying just sit down and explain to them and break it down and they'll be able to understand. But don't shout
Yeah.
like, wait now, wait, do not shout. There's no need to be violent.
Yeah. Do not dismiss.
Yeah. Just like just be
Yeah.
don't be dismissive. Their feelings also really matter because especially when they're teenagers, that's their prime years. That's
Yeah.
them, it's make it or break it. And you want to shape them to be like a better person, especially on in their teenage years, you know.
Yeah.
You don't know how
Yeah.
to
Our parents like dismissing anything we have to say. Sometimes they don't have any idea where you're coming from or what you're about to talk about, but they've just decided they know what you want to talk about and totally dismissed anything you want to say. And it's so hard to have any conversation with them. So, as modern parents right now, we need to like learn how to open up to give kids the right environment and the right space for them to be able to come in and open up to us. And some of those things are work. They're a long journey. They're not going to happen overnight. Start as
yeah,
early as soon as possible. It's never too late
that's
to start.
difficult.
Yeah, it's never too late to start. Whatever time period of time. If your kids are already grown or something, at least you know better now. There's always hope. There's always a chance. Just allow yourself and start small. Start by letting them share with you or share part of you too. This is another way of doing it. Share part of you with them. Let them not see you as this always perfect parent, always good parents, always what. Let
Mm,
them get to know a little bit of you and where you come from or why you are the way you are and stuff. Not just to like excuse yourself, but just for them to be a little bit compassionate and empathetic about your situation. So yeah, just open up a little bit to them so that they are able to come in and find that there's a safe space to come and talk to you about things. Talk to you about things. Throw in things that here and there. For me, just to ensure that my son knows that he can always come to me, I'll make sure like I'll ask him things. I'll keep on asking him things about what I know are relevant to his age, so that
mm,
you know what, when that time comes, you can always come to me and talk to me about that. I'll ask him
yeah,
something like, "Oh, do you know very soon you'll need to be shaving? Do you understand that you'll be need to be shaving and stuff?" I just don't throw it out there, but when it comes at the right time, you ensure that
yeah,
they know.
yeah,
You know what? When it comes, I can imagine him about feature and stuff. It made us during our time. When you reach the point where you want to shave and stuff, you can't tell your parent, and you have to look for
exactly.
money with the future. I'm a woman, mtu. And that was the worst way of getting such things, such items. When if it's a dude is giving you that thing, there's something in return for it. You're not gonna get it for free. So it's bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, let them kids to be able to come to you and talk to you. Create a safe space.
Safe space.
Forgive yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, safe space. Forgive yourself for mistakes, the past. If you're not doing it right in the beginning, that's fine. At least you want to change now. That is fine. You might not get it right all the time. I don't get it right all the time. I don't.
yeah.
But so long
One
as
is
you're trying
yeah,
and yeah, so long as you're trying and you're seeing your kid flourishing, you're seeing them happy, you're seeing them, then okay, actually, maybe I'm probably doing the right thing. When we started, I did mention about what we watch on TV and mostly American stuff. We have to be careful on the things we watch. Not everything is the reality. Not
yes,
everything is the reality of life. So, yeah, you might try to copy at his own, thinking that that's what everybody is doing. That's the modern life. At what to squeeze one as a that you might be misled with all those things you're watching. I prefer like reading stuff maybe from people who are experts in those fields and getting to know, learning more about making yourself better.
yeah. One thing you can say. So think about because you as a parent, you have a relationship. There's a relationship, a parent child. That's a relationship. So you and your husband, you and your partner, you have a relationship. So put it in a way whereby if you argue with your spouse or your partner, when you have an argument, how do you deal with it? Do you shout? Do you fight? What do? You communicate. And communication is key, both in children and in adults basically. So treat your child as well the same the way you treat your husband or you treat your wife or whatever way you're gonna treat your spouse or your partner. Communicate. Whether they understand or not, especially when a child is 2 or 1 years old. You don't need to hit them. I remember because my son, when the first time I did, I hit him. I hit his hand, and I felt very guilty, and it was so bad, and so bad. And the next time I saw him, actually, he was hitting his hand, and I didn't like that. That actually really hurt me, and
Mm.
that's when I started. Even though he didn't understand, I had to put like words that he could understand. So
They
try and
can understand. And the good thing about kids, they'll always tell you if they didn't understand, they
yeah,
can always communicate that, and you can lower your level
yeah,
to them. Yeah, you can keep on meeting in the middle. Just try and explain as much as possible. I do like that. Communicate to the kids. Don't underestimate that. Okay, because the kids, they're not going to understand you. And remember, kids do watch. Kids watch absolutely everything.
yeah,
That's how you communicate to your partner, how you communicate it to your family, how you're treating your family. Sometimes you wonder why your kids are treating people like that, but they've
yeah.
seen the way you do
The
it.
same the way you do exactly. You
They've
be a
seen the way
good
you
example
do
to
it.
children.
I can guess who that is. I know who that is. Kabisa. Assalamu alaikum
Alaikum salam.
warahmatullah. I don't have mimi hiyo ni kitu ilinishindaga hii mdomo wa kutustustuku
Assalamu alaikum wa mutali sijui wa barakatuh.
rahmatullah
Alaikum
wa
salam. But just
assalam.
communicate
Yeah,
communicate
tumesalimika.
with children.
Yeah, leo hata watu watusalimii, watuambii what they do. When, like you're saying, we're not shoving it down anybody's throat to do it, artist doing it. Kila mtu na
Yeah.
style yake, kila mtu. At the end of the day, we're just trying to have a better generation, a healthier generation.
Yeah. A healthy
Not
relationship.
okay, tukubali tukatae. There's a lot of messed up adults out here. Ndo kwa vile watu
A
maybe people
lot. Everyone
a
needs
lot,
therapy.
a lot. Ndo kwa vile
Yeah.
relationship zina break up as yes,
Mhm.
we can't maintain relationship. That's why people are committing, yeah, taking their own lives,
Living
yeah.
our own
That's
ways.
why people are killing other people, yeah, because we are messed up. We never dealt with that. That little child that wasn't told actually you are safe, you're loved, you know, we are here for you, we will ever protect you. That kid in you still wants that. It wants that from the world, it wants that from your partner, it wants that from your children. That kid
Mhm.
bado yuko tu pale anangoja mtu amwambie you are safe, you're okay. But nobody's coming to do that,
No one
unfortunately.
is exactly, and that's why exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you grow up, you end up finding you're trying to find someone to love you. Because for me, one, I did not know how to like show. I did not know how to deal with people's emotions. I didn't know how to show my emotions. Like I just didn't know how to communicate with with my partner. I never really knew.
Mm.
In fact, when my partner cried, I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I just didn't know how to
Yeah,
do that. Or even when my friends cried to me, I didn't know how. I did not know how to give them comfort at all because I did not know what comfort was. I never received that from my mom, so I didn't know what that was. So I learned that after being a parent, like just little by little, I learned that. I learned how to be emotional with people and how to give comfort to someone. So please comfort your children. Usiseme ni ukilia nitakuchapa nitakupatia sababu ulie.
nitakupiga wow, nitakuzaba.
My mom used to like saying nitakuchanganisha na ukuta wewe. That was her favorite quote. So please
Basi unajua
usichanganishe.
nini? Wewe as mtoto, that's what you've already seen. Umesha imagine venye utachanganishwa na ukuta.
No
Even though
ukuta.
kama ikikuja that evil, wewe ushaona evil. That's when on a kids they start becoming scared of you na mapema. Because ye ameshapa the emotion amesha attach na vile kuchanganyishwa na ukuta might
No
feel.
ukuta itakaa, exactly.
So they're
Yeah,
already in that. That's when mtoto anakuwa ashakuogopa na mapema, and that's so heartbreaking.
it's
So
so
anyway, naona my time zinaenda. Okay, I wanted to add that we should banish blame. We should watch our language around our kid and devise strategies to get out of things when they are getting out of hand. whatever the age of the kid, find ways to ukiona mtoto labda atafika akati pale amekudisrespect na wewe unajua hiyo ni trigger, that's a trigger for you. If you can take yourself out of that
After that
situation, leave the
situation,
room
yeah,
or something, do that. Do that.
and
Take some
calm
time
down.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah, let the kids learn how to respect people from you. Akiona you can respect them, then they respect you back. It's earned. Respect is earned. Let them watch and learn from you. Let them see how you control your emotions, how you deal with your emotions, how you acknowledge your emotions. Then they'll know how to deal with their own. Unaona how to
Mm,
deal with their own. But kama ameona wewe mwenyewe una controls na unataka awe na control, how
mm.
does that even make sense? How does that even
It
make sense?
doesn't. And you, some
Actually,
people. Sorry, go
mm.
ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yani yeye haruhusi kuwa angry, and yet anakuona wewe you're angry and you flip over everything. You know, it really doesn't make sense and it's really
Really
unfair.
doesn't. And obviously to you, kichapa mtoto, some people might say, oh, like, oh, they live in the Western, they gain the Western ways. It's, maybe I don't raise my son how wazungu wanaraise watoto wanaraise watoto. Kila mtu in the different household, by the way, hata wazungu pia in the different household wanaraise
That's
watoto.
exactly why I was saying don't believe everything you watch on the TV. That's exactly why I brought that up. Because some
Utapata
people
mtu mwingine
wanaona kwa TV wanadhani that's how
that's
wazungu wako.
wengine actually kuna wazazi wengine wazungu ambao ni very abusive, they leave their child
They are even worse than Waafrika. Some of them
yeah.
wako worse than Waafrika. Mzazi Mwafrika hata see, I'm not on my knowledge that mi sijaona hata kuacha ulale njaa as such. Mi sijui kama inafanyika, but
Punished in a form of maybe zipo
bado
some
utaoga, bado utakula. Mimi sijui. And you might miss a meal or something, but some of our wazungu they can neglect that kid kabisa, ambapo mtoto
wanafungia.
hajai yoga, hajai fanya nini, hajai. So yeah, we got to find our own balance.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to, it's nothing to do like with the Western way of bringing a child. It's about communication. I've gone through it. And me as an adult, it scarred me. It scarred me basically. It's a permanent scar that's left me. And obviously, with the support of my partner and the support of my friends, I'm finding I'm getting to know myself differently and in a different light. So, unajua sometimes uko unachocha mtoto pia as well. Kuchapa mtoto saa zote utapata mtoto kwamba a child is being sexually assaulted by someone, but that child cannot come to you and tell you and express that because simply wataona kwamba you blame them or you won't believe them because you raise them in a way kwamba put like you put fear into them that they can't come to you and be free with you. So I have seen that from someone. And that's what I'm saying out there. Try to be very lenient to your kids. Try to understand your kids. Hata kama no matter how much wewe mwenyewe ukikosa umemkasirisha Mungu, God still loves you regardless. And God does not, punish you
Absolutely.
exactly the way you punish a child.
Absolutely.
Even the Bible
Absolutely.
says you should be slow to anger and quick to listen. So if you can try
Yeah.
anger and quick to listen,
Alafu sikasikie mtoi forever ati 1 year later bado umekasirikia mtoto ama nini.
mtoto because wakikuwa wakubwa, imagine when wakiwa wakubwa they will end up cutting you off their lives completely.
They do.
They will
Yes.
stop listening to you.
Mkasikie mtoto, but like you do with your spouse, you want to be talking by the next day, do the same. Don't let it ati nalala ati watu wameenda kulala bado watu walikuwa wamekasirika.
Makasirika.
You know how to forgive. But above all, yani the common, I don't know, outline on all the topics we speak about on this platform, karibu every single time that what comes out is that we have to love ourselves. Love is the greatest gift of all. You
Yeah,
have to
absolutely.
love yourself, love people. If you love people, there are things you can do to people. You can't cause people any harm, whatever their age, whatever. You can't cause people harm. Utakuwa understand what you from a point of love and approaching people from a point of love, and that causes communication. Love yourself. When you love yourself, you'll know how you want to be loved. You know how to love others. You'll understand what love is in general. So easy vitu zote tunaweza reduce na avoid, and then just be a person who is willing and ready to unlearn and relearn. And learn, relearn. Yeah, every
Accept your
single
mistakes.
time.
As parents, accept your mistakes. Me when I raised my child the way people might think, oh, you're raising your child like a hippie. No. Baby wangu, baby.
Hi, baby. Hi, Andre. alikuwa na dance hapo hivyo. I don't know what he was doing. I kept on seeing him doing his own stuff. Thank you, Lovin, for coming on here and sharing your life. You always pour your heart and share your own story. And yeah, I like it like that. I like sharing my own stories because that's what
Yeah,
you can relate with. Hakuna haja ya jaribu story ya somebody else that you don't know the whole story or the whole journey.
yeah,
Making things up. Your own story. A lot of people will relate. There was somebody there who would be inspired by your story and know that there is hope. Like me, right now I have a wonderful relationship with my mom, but there's a time that we didn't really have that. We didn't have that. Mimi ule mtu nilitoka nikaenda my boarding school mapema, came back, and I was just like, I thought, I love you, but I don't think I like you. Mimi na we're in the same house. I don't want it to
yeah,
happen. So I'm
yeah,
moving out as soon as possible. I don't want to disrespect you, so I'm moving out. So I did do that
yeah,
against her will. So I do know that does happen, but right now we are in a good place. We can show love. We can tell each other we love each other. So there's hope for everybody and there's a chance for everybody. Love is out there
yeah.
and there's full of
Yeah.
love everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mom says start anzani mapema, start early, treating your kids differently. Stop hating your children because hating does not solve anything. Because imagine how your parents used to raise you. Don't raise your child that way. You don't want to leave a toxic imprint with your child, basically. Same
Mm.
Nicole, For me as well, living under the same household with my mom, I would dread when she's coming back home. I was like, atakasirika nini leo? Hata sitaki rudi nyumbani.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how she was. Now my mom is a completely different person. Like she's loving, seem to as hata you alipata
You
Yesu.
can look at the whole new person.
She's like a whole new person, and the way we communicate is differently. She knows she's very different. In fact, mimi nikiambia Henry fanya homework before you sit down and do anything else. Yeye ananiambia acha mtoto I remember Mimi, hey, angekuwa shanichanganisha na ukuta, the way she used to say.
You couldn't dare. You couldn't dare.
Kuna siku alinigwara sura basically just because sikujua alisema what's 3 plus 3 sikujua. Vile alinigwara sura wewe, anichapa kofi akanigwara akanichela kalama on my side and I was like 6. I was 6 years old. Exactly. So please don't.
I do feel your pain. Mimi ni wale watu tulikuwa tunajulikana usipokula kiboko kila mtu anauliza haya how many days tangu uchapo. Yani ni strange. Yani hujapigwa yani ni strange. Yani mpaka wewe mwenyewe you have to do something though. It becomes something you have to do. And
Yeah.
that could be a really big issue because it happens even into any toxic relationship. You get addicted. You start relating love to that. Unaona?
By the way,
Attention. Yeah.
yeah.
Only time you want that attention, okay, I can easily get it if I do this. So anytime you're feeling like you want that attention, okay, I just need to be naughty and you're good hiding and we're good. So you only need to be naughty and mom, yeah, and it becomes bad because that's how the kid relates love. Yeah.
It's so
I
weird
hope
how it works. Yeah. Because
yeah.
sometimes as an adult, you end up, I don't know, for me, I was just lucky. I never really end up like dating someone toxic. In fact, I feel like I'm the
Because
most toxic one.
the
But
more they're toxic, the more you feel loved. You think that is how to be loved, and
but
it's
yeah, so the thing is that when you come from like a toxic family, you end up dating someone toxic,
yeah,
someone
a
bad, or
very
someone
big
bad.
percentage.
Yeah, you
You're
end up
addicted to it. It's your drug. You need that fix. You need that high. So you keep
yeah,
on
it's
going
just like
for it.
I don't know, psychological wise, I don't know how it works, but generally you
Mm,
end up dating someone similar to your mom. Example, like my brother, basically how my mom used to be. He was dating like girls who were just like her, wanapenda ukorofi, ni
yeah.
down, makelele, basically.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
please,
it's hard to break from that.
it is hard to
That's
break
how you rediscover. That's how
from
you know. That's what you know. That's how you know. That's what you attract, and we mostly attract who we are, really. So it's sad. Okay,
yeah.
I'm seeing people who have just joined us. Polemi, we're just winding up. Thank you for joining us. At least Malizana kutusalimia. Just say where you've joined us from. Say hello to us. Otherwise, we're wrapping it. My time's in end.
Yeah.
Your parents and stuff. Yeah. Your parents and stuff. Thank you very much. We've written most of the things we're talking about. So if you read down the comments there, you'll be able to follow what the topic was about. Yeah, remember, love wins. You're spreading love. You're spreading love. You're spreading love. Love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
love
be
words.
hateful. Don't be hateful creatures. Be,
Yeah,
ukikasirisha, toka mkasirisha, no matter what they've done, just walk away. Jua kwamba hiyo decision ukimake kwa hasira, what will it cost you? Will it be worth it?
the
Watu,
consequences outweighs. Yeah,
exactly. So actually kuna mtu huku ambao aliua bibi yake sababu ya chips. Chips. Alimnyonga bibi sababu ya chips. Hasira ya chips ilifanya kanyonga bibi.
yeah. So we definitely know that there was more to the story than just the chips, isn't it? Ways
Probably,
it could overnight to want to over chips. So it's mostly something that was underlying issue. Yeah,
probably.
okay. I
My
hope
point
you're
is,
going to have a better generation of
yeah,
kids from
absolutely.
today's topic. Yeah, we'll make mistakes, we'll forgive ourselves, we'll move forward, we'll try and be better, we'll unlearn what we know and relearn new things and keep on learning from each other and encouraging each other. Otherwise, Quairini and Asanteni.
When you're angry, walk away.
Spread love, spread love. Tell your friends about our group. Let them come and subscribe or join. Anything we'll appreciate. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you, Lovine. I almost